Hello, everybody. It is 8 o'clock, and we're excited to begin our second live stream for the STEM Teacher Network. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited. Hopefully, you've got kind of all the pieces that you need to join us in this experience. There's a few items I just want to raise to your attention so you know how to navigate along with us. The first thing is that you'll probably want to have the agenda open. There's a link to the agenda in the YouTube video description there. And so you can follow that link and open up the agenda. And that agenda here, I'll just share that screen with you. That agenda shows you everything you need, including a link to this live stream, which hopefully you're already watching. It also has our guest book. And if you're willing to just click there and fill out the simple form, that's super helpful for us just to get a sense of who's here with us, who's coming back for the second meeting, who's here for the first time. We really appreciate you filling out that guest book. It should just take you just a minute. And the other main item here is there's a few ways to interact with us. This is one of the questions that came up at our first live stream, which is like, how do I interact with you guys? Like, you know, I want to ask some questions. I want to be part of the conversation. We want you to be a part of the conversation. There's a few ways to do that. One is in the live stream itself. There is a place to have a chat. Right? So on the right-hand side of that screen, that you're seeing a delayed version of the live stream right here. On the right-hand side is a place where we can all be talking to one another. So hey, everybody, let's chat. And this is a great place where you can be asking questions for our panelists, if you like, or chatting to one another. So this is a great place to say, hello, I'm here. What's your name? Where are you tuning in from? This is primarily only for those who are here with the live stream as opposed to those watching the recording. You can ask maybe more in-depth questions, you know, so they don't get lost in the feed as the feed kind of works its way up the channel. And that is, if you look at the agenda, again, you'll see the option of asking and upvoting your favorite questions. So that's the third link. Ask questions and upvote your favorites. And this is a place where you can ask questions, particularly of Dr. Selleck as she's sharing. Undoubtedly, she's going to spark some questions in your mind, and we want to give an opportunity for you to ask those questions of her. So this is a place where you can type in your question, and I'll just put in a sample question here. And if you see a question that you really want to see answered, this is a place where, again, you can upvote those questions. You could downvote it, but that'd be pretty mean of you to do. But you can upvote a question so that our most popular questions are answered. If you are watching a recording of this, I hope you see that this is one of the reasons we'd love for you to join us live, is that this is the interactivity we're hoping to have with our panelists who come and join us. Oh, excuse me. So right off the bat, though, I rather than go through the rest of the network tools that are there, those are the same tools we're going to be using throughout our STEM Teacher Network. We're going to have 3 guests join us tonight. Most of our time is going to be spent with Dr. Selleck, but as we get started, we always want to focus on like sweet, useful tools right off the bat. And the first one that Josh and I have been talking about, in fact, Josh introduced me to this the very first time we spoke. I think he said in his classroom, I don't know if you remember, Josh, but we were, you said, have you ever seen one of these things? And it was the zip snip from Works. And there's a link to what it looks like there, but maybe you're willing to just kind of give us a quick explanation of why this has been such an important tool for your STEM classroom.
Well, I know that there's a lot of teachers out there that are using cardboard and tape, and I call that the old school 3D printer is the cardboard and tape. And it's cheap, it's inexpensive, but one of the struggles my students had, and it also created a struggle for me, is they're lining up with me asking me to cut it because they weren't powerful enough to use scissors to cut through it. So I saw this maybe about 2 years ago. I saw Bill Van Loo using it at a McCall conference, and I said, I have to have one of these. I have 3rd graders that are using this, and I've had no problems with it, and it just slices right through plastic and cardboard, and it's given me, it's freed up my time. But it's also it's empowered the students. I mean, some of these students have never used a power tool before, and they're in awe of it. You know, even the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are like, "You're going to let me use this?" But it saved my time. It makes great cuts, and I think that any makerspace, project-based learning, STEM classroom would love to have one or a few of these in there.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. And after your recommendation, I went out and I bought one just to use for my own projects and with my kiddos. And it's pretty awesome. It's a really sweet tool. And we're pleased that this can be one of our giveaways tonight for those of you who are joining us live. So we have one that we're going to be giving away at the very end of our live stream tonight. So make sure you're staying on till the very end. And I'll show you the special way that we will identify a winner. I have to say that last week we gave away, or last month, what was it? Yeah, last month we gave away a GoPro Hero Session, which was super cool. And Josh got a video back from the teacher who received it, Luke, who he was using it with his students in their like cardboard race, right? Like their cardboard boat race.
It was a boat regatta, and it was about a 2-minute video. I showed him how to cut it down, or I told him I was going to put it into GoPro Quick Stories, which is a really simple video editing app. I took the 2-minute video and it sliced and diced it up in 45 seconds with a push of a button. And those of you that don't know about the GoPro Quick Story app, it is a sweet free app on iTunes and on Android. So we sliced and diced it. I think you're going to put up a link maybe on at some point. I'll throw it on the Google Plus Hangout as well. But yeah, really cool. I won't tell you what happened. You'll just have to watch the boat regatta cardboard race that they held in their pool. Good stuff.
Super cool. Thanks. I know, Josh, you're going to be sharing more as time goes on in our network about how you use GoPro cameras with your students. It's some really awesome stuff. But tonight we're really excited to have with us a special guest, Dr. Carrie Selleck, and I'm going to leave it to Josh to introduce her to you all. But last month we had 3 expert STEM teachers joining us, and they all shared some of their perspective, and it kind of smacked us between the eyes that we had 3 men on our panel the very first time. And I know Carrie's like, "What are you doing?" And we were really excited to get Carrie connected because of the awesome work that she's been doing with girls in STEM. It's something we're all really excited about. And but Josh, you mind introducing Carrie?
Okay, yeah, I'm super excited to introduce Dr. Selleck. I stumbled across her at a Project Lead the Way conference a couple of years ago, not knowing that when I walked into that room that I was going to come out with an insane amount of ideas and inspiration. She blew my doors off, and I searched and searched and searched. I was like, I've got to find her. I've got to find her and get her on this show, because guys, everyone out in Michigan today that's watching this, or those of you that choose to watch it on YouTube, she's going to blow your doors off. Just an incredible amount of resources and ideas. And the thing Dr. Selleck really impressed me most about is I was able to walk out of that classroom and into my classroom that week using some of her tools. And so Dr. Selleck, thank you for being on this show today. It's an honor to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Now, Andrew, are we going to start with Dr. Ken Frank and have the guest?
So here's kind of the thing that's happening tonight. So tonight, we've got a few things happening. Carrie's going to share with us about her work, and we have 2 other special guests who are going to be sharing about sort of special projects. One is related to a cool NHL project. That's Samantha. She'll be joining us towards the end of our live stream. And Dr. Ken Frank from Michigan State will be joining us really towards the very end of our live stream to tell us a little bit about a really cool research project, which our network is going to be a part of. And we're going to give a little time at the very end, the last 10-15 minutes, to participate in an initial survey that he and his team have created. And so if you stick around to the very end, that's what's going to make you eligible for our giveaway. But he'll join us and explain his work and our collaboration there towards the end.
Okay, so let's get. Oh, go ahead, Ken. You want to introduce?
Yeah, hi. I just thought I'd say hi, and that was the plan. I'm all good with it. Driving changed, so I was able to jump in earlier, but I'll just listen for a little while.
Thank you, Dr. Frank, for being with us today too. It's a pleasure to have you, and I know that the educators here in Michigan that are watching this or wherever they are, they're gonna find out how you can offer some suggestions on how to implement some of these things the right way, especially when they hear some of the ideas that Dr. Selleck is going to bring today. I think one of the questions a lot of our listeners are going to say is, how do you implement this and how do you do it the right way? So I'm excited to have you as well. So Dr. Selleck, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready, I think.
All right, this is exciting. All right,
I'm excited.
All right, so one of the things I wanted, if I could just start off with one of the things that I remember that I could just implement right away, and I brought it up in our last live stream, was that you have your Girls in Engineering program sketch boxes and you have them keep a STEM journal. Could you please elaborate a little bit about what goes in the STEM journal and give us a background of who you are first and what you've been doing, but then let's jump into that STEM journal.
Wonderful. And Andrew, I do have the STEM journal on the slides, so I can visually share that too. Well, I have been in education my entire life, and I've been a teacher. I've been an elementary principal, and the last number of years I've been at the central office level working in curriculum and instruction. And I've loved every job I've held. And thank you for inviting me tonight.
Our pleasure.
So, Dr. Selleck, I've got those slides on the journals that you use up. So anytime if you want me to show those while you kind of explain how you use the journals, I'd be happy to share those.
That would be great. So just so I'm clear, I can see the little box down below of the journal.
Yes, and what I'll do is I will show those while you're chatting about it.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I begin, the Girls in Engineering program is now in its, I just completed the 6th summer session. And every summer it's a little bit different. I draw from middle school and high school age students. And I do an application process simply to find out why they're interested in attending my summer program. And everyone who applies, of course, is able to join. And the number of students I usually have is anywhere from 8 to 15. And which makes it a very nice group of students to work with. On day 1, I have boxes in the middle of the room on a table. And I'm talking cardboard boxes, and I give the students their engineering journal. And I say, one of the things that engineers do well is to try to figure out how to convey a message through communication of some kind. And one of the things that often happens is people will draw on a napkin or write their idea and share it with someone. And so being able to communicate that through the visual form, where you don't have a computer on your table, but you have a napkin, you're at a restaurant, that's something that I ask them to do. So we sketch boxes in our engineering journal. And I have a progression of the boxes that we sketch every morning in my slides so that you can see how their development changes each day with very one-dimensional looking boxes to finally towards the end of the summer session, you can see some depth and some better depictions. And the girls always cringe at their drawing skills to begin with, and then they become very comfortable that the drawings are simply for our I really want the girls to get warmed up and to feel comfortable in the group.
The same thing. After you introduced that to me, I put it into my classroom that following week, and that it is so cool to watch the progression of this and to give them a slightly different take on, I don't want to call it art, but technical drawing, and how important it is when if you're going into the engineering field. So it was such a cool idea. There's no cost to it, and your kids can get started right away.
They can, and I divide the journal up into 3 categories. One is just an idea portion. And we start the session every summer with brainstorming things that bother them in the world. I use my example of a dental floss container, and the dental floss container, the little silver tab falls out frequently. And so I wanted to design a new dental floss container, and that just gets the flow going for the girls. And they come up with everything from a coat that might have battery warmers already in its pockets built into, boy, I wish that my toothbrush holder didn't get the gunk on the bottom. And lots of different ideas come up about for how they could better something that already exists, which is really what engineers end up doing.
I love it. And so you're talking to a lot of educators out there that are really looking for resources and ideas. What is a simple resource or tool that STEM teachers, anyone that's going into this space, that they could start using tomorrow that you've used? What kind of suggestion could you give them?
Well, I believe one of the fundamental things that particularly girls struggle with when we talk about what engineers do is that typically that our girls from a young age are not necessarily given the opportunities to take things apart and to tinker. And so I like to break down that barrier right away. And I have not found success in putting a motor right in front of a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old girl or a 14-year-old girl. Typically, I try to have them take something apart that they're familiar with. So I bring in hair blowers and curling irons and a blender and, any variety of things that a female may be more prone to be familiar with. And it's interesting because I say you can break these items. I want to see all the parts in front of you. And they have a real hard time getting started. They don't want to break it. They don't want to scratch it. And I have tools all over the table, and they just begin to take things apart. And it's really an awakening for everyone to see that a hair dryer and an electric radio and various things that are familiar to them have similar parts inside. And I have them use the engineering journal to predict what is inside that hair blower and to predict what is inside that curling iron. And then as they take it apart, to draw the components and label them. And then the challenge is to walk around and see all of the familiar parts or unfamiliar parts. But usually they pick right up that, oh my gosh, there's a circuit board and everything. And there are wires, and why are the wires all colored differently? And so we just generate questions, and then we go out in the community and find answers to those questions. Why are circuit boards green? Why are they brown? What is this foil that looks, or this gold-colored, funny-feeling paper that's around the what they are predicting as a heating element? So we just generate a great variety of questions, and then we find the answers to them. So that's so easy, and yet the girls are so very much engaged in finding the answers because they want to know how this thing works. Okay, so I'm gonna skip one question here because I'm really excited, and you and I had a previous conversation about this. So what's really interesting about you is that you were a teacher, you're an administrator, curriculum director. You've been around it all. You know about implementing these things, whatnot. I'm gonna go on a limb. Are you okay with our educators, or the educators that are watching this, to reach out to, because this system you built is a system. I mean, it is robust. It is something that can be implemented with other people. Are you okay with them reaching out? I would love it. And I do have a link to my website that is still in development. I decided to retire in August this year. And I was not eligible to draw my pension yet, but I really made a leap of faith to say, I want to pursue a couple of things that I'm most passionate about. And one of them is girls in engineering. And if I was doing all the jobs that I was involved in at the public school district level, then I wasn't going to be able to focus on a few things like girls in engineering and give it my full attention. So I'm trying to broaden the scope beyond one school district and to have it a county or a statewide model. And I'd like to extend it to a longer period in the summertime and possibly open up some sessions in the wintertime as well.
Okay, educators.
So I would love you to look at my website.
I encourage these educators to go and seek you out on this as well, because like I said, I got to hear you speak for, it was probably about an hour, and it was all hands on, just you were throwing stuff at us, and I loved it. And it's so well done. And there's a lot of people out there that might not know how to implement that. They might not know how to, step by step by step. You've already figured that out, and it's been really, really incredible. One of the things that I was also really intrigued about, because, all of us live in different communities with different types of manufacturing or different types of businesses that are in our community. You do a really, really good job of connecting with those businesses. And I think that is one of the primary goals of a STEM teacher or a project-based learning teacher is to see what's available in your community. Could you share your pontoon story with our?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Every summer we do projects back in the classroom, and usually those projects are tied to something that has an industry in our community. And of course, I approach the business and industry folks prior to my summer program, and we go to different places each summer. But we have a growing, thriving pontoon industry in Owasso, and it just so happened that I had some connections there with some people on Rotary and with the chamber. And they invited us to come to the pontoon factory and go through every aspect of it. So they got to see welders, they got to see the CNC machines in operation, they got to see CAD programs, working on cutting out some aluminum for the pontoons. And the girls came away with an idea to create their own pontoon and to submit designs for the kind of pontoon that they would want to have. And so I had one of my girls had an idea. She worked on it for 2 days straight on designing a diner pontoon. And so she had hers decorated with spinning chairs and LED lights and stools like it was a diner. And we presented those to the designers at the pontoon company. And then they were so wonderful. We were also working on a lot of electrical activities back in the classroom. And they decided that they would help us with some lampshades for the lamps we were making from scratch. And they cut out of metal and rounded them like a pontoon and cut out the symbol for females. And every girl then got to have her own lampshade made there. And then we took it to another company who powder coated each of the lampshades the color that the girls wanted. And so they got to see a variety of different things done in industries related to something they created. And that all really came from things that I've never been able to do because I wasn't taught that in my childhood. I wasn't a tinkerer at all. So I'm the biggest learner in this group. And I sometimes, well, more than that, I often do not even have the answer to any of the questions at all. I'm just the biggest learner. And I'm a go-to girl that says, we don't know the answer to that question, but I bet I know somebody who can help us out. And we just go out the door, walk downtown, and ask local businesses to help us out. So the lamp project was one of my favorites all time.
Karen, can I ask one of our participants, Ann Harkema, is asking about the girls' camp in the summer and where you do that. Like,
well, I've been affiliated with Owasso Public Schools, and I did it right in my curriculum director office. So I had a big board table, and the girls would come in, and we would sit around that table, and then we would go into the library sometimes to do projects. And I had a computer lab outside of my office, and we worked. We called it the boardroom, and then we called it, another room was our actual fabrication room. And then we had our communication room. So it was a big deal.
And Andrew, I had a talk with Dr. Selleck last week about, I really believe, because I've seen some of the stuff that she's doing, and I know that she's has some ideas of possibly getting this out to the rest of the state and beyond, and I totally believe that it will happen. And so I strongly encourage the person that asked that question to get in contact with Dr. Selleck to see what kind of next steps it takes to get that moving. One of the things, there's two things that just came into my mind. One was that those of you that are listening here, you can start as simple as sketching boxes, or as simple as bringing in things like Dr. Selleck said, curling irons, and ask some really the phenomena, like what's inside there, how does that work, and let them destroy them and break them apart. But on the flip side, she goes as far as reaching out to her community, and that was one of the same exact threads. I think a common thread between Dr. Selleck and Trevor Muir from our last session is that these people are reaching out to their community, and we strongly encourage you to do that. And so, Dr. Selleck, what suggestion can you give the teachers in approaching these local businesses to partner with? Like, do you have some suggestions on how to do that?
I just call them. I call them directly, or I ask to speak to, usually I get my foot in the door best with the human resource director or the president or vice president. They are typically wanting to showcase their companies, and the human resource director really knows what's going on and what individuals within that organization might be more readily accessible than others. And I've had no problems whatsoever. Any place that I've asked, they've said, please join us, please come. And I work around their schedule, but most often they open the doors, and now I have some routine visits every summer to people who want us to come back.
That's awesome. And in the last month, Trevor and Bob Richards and I were talking about this. One really good way to do it too is just have your students make the call. It's very difficult for a business to say no to students. And then on the flip side, it gives them some communication skills to practice, like how to have that meaningful conversation with an adult when they're young. This next question, it's always interesting to me what kind of apps and websites and tools people are using to make their projects come alive. Is there a website or app that you have your students use that you think is awesome, or that your students use?
I did have a great success with the Arduino kits, and so those are accessible to bring girls into the coding world. And each one of, honest to goodness, I Googled girls in STEM fields, and from there, it's just this almost more than one can even go through in finding the resources available. So I can't say there was one site in particular, but many of them, the National Science Association, the Michigan Council of Teachers of Math and Science, the Capital Area Science and Math Center. I received funding through mini grants from CASM for a number of years to do this, and then most recently IBM. And I'm looking for funding to continue this on a grand scale, but I have, I think in my slides, some of my resources that I've used. And because my site is literally, today we were uploading some things, it is not complete by any means, but my goal is to link to a variety of resources for folks. And then also to have some video footage, which I believe I put on my website today. There's some video footage of us going to Woodard Furniture, a design company here in Owasso. And we got in the door there by saying that we would love to visit Woodard. And our students were going to be using drones and learning in the summer program this year. The girls were going to learn how to fly a drone, and that we would like to do a mini commercial for them using the drone footage that we captured. And visiting the plant, we would take photographs and then put a little plug in for them. And they were delighted. We spent 8 hours in that factory over a 2-day period.
And there's another question I'd like to ask about. You've been an educator and an administrator. What advice can you give teachers that don't really know where to start when they want to go down the STEM project-based learning area? What advice could you give them?
You know, I just have never found somebody with passion and somebody that has a good idea and they want to try something new with students. I've never received no as an answer in an education setting. I've never said no to somebody as a teacher who's come to me with an idea for a project. And I've always said in my district, you bring a good idea forward and I'll help you find the funds to do it. But this program is really inexpensive. And so I just think, get some questions, have some projects that you would like to create, Google engineering, and look at how the field of engineering really has fingers in everything around our world. And I think the ideas, I'll share my schedule of the summer program that I did this last summer on my site, and people can see that. What I really want to do is show you the original sketch of the 2-week program with a 3-week program, and then how it evolved organically from a question to something that I absolutely needed to pursue because of the girls' interests. And so I always start out with a general idea, but it never ends up how I thought I was going to move the girls. It usually is much better based on what their interests are.
And the educators that are out there, I go look at that link and go look at that list, because the one thing that I felt when I walked out too is that it's very intuitive, the way that you set these things up. Like you said, you're one of the students, and a lot of these teachers have to realize when you go into these, and I think they already know, is that they're going to be students too, and it's okay to feel that way as you're approaching these new ideas. And you've just laid it out so well for them to get started. And so I know that the teachers want these resources and ideas, and there's a pile of them sitting at your link. I know that.
I think my best advice is that the students' questions engage the students in learning about their answers. And so a program like this is so freeing because we're going where the kids want to go. And if I could offer any wish for our nation's education system, is that students' questions should be at the forefront of everything we do. And the curriculum that should be very malleable, and it should not have such an etched in stone, we must do this and we must do that, in my opinion. And I wish we would trust the questions that the students have, and I think everything would end up proving itself to be okay in our world.
This audience is clapping right now.
Yeah, right.
We're all clapping. I see Dr. Frank.
I'm sorry, Josh. To hear a school curriculum and a curriculum director say that kind of thing, I think everyone's saying, "I wish I could work at any school that you're working at." Okay,
oh no, so they're gonna go out and try to hire her now.
Yes, that's right. I so appreciate the time that you were able to give us tonight. I know there's so much more we could tab you for in terms of the work you've done, ideas and resources, and I'm sure we will be continuing to tap you throughout this network. But thank you for making yourself available to us tonight, but also to participants. That I've shared with them your website, your slides.
Wonderful.
Out to you. So thank you so much.
And encourage them to call me. Encourage them to sign up as a contact on my website, and I am very responsive. So I would appreciate connecting with them.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What we're going to do next is as you can see in our agenda, we're really excited to share a specific project that was new to me. Josh brings all these amazing things to my attention, which is super cool. And that is, it's a project called NHL Future Goals, and it's from EverFi. And we have Samantha here, who I haven't introduced yet. Samantha is a former teacher who still gets the pleasure, as I understand, to go out to schools all over Michigan and share this really cool curriculum. And it's a free resource. It's really it's really impressive stuff. And so we wanted to give her just a few minutes to what this thing is and tell a little bit how you could get connected to it. So Samantha, welcome. I think you're muted right now, but feel free to unmute yourself and share. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. So hello, everyone. This is my very first live hangout, so hopefully I don't totally mess it up.
Been good so far.
Awesome. So yes, I work for EverFi, which is an educational technology company. Maybe you've heard of it before. We actually do totally free online learning programs for teachers to use with students. And we're able to do that by partnering with local and national organizations who want to have an impact on education, but maybe don't necessarily know how. So that is EverFi in a nutshell. But one of our partners is the Detroit Red Wings, which I know most people in Michigan are pretty big fans of. So they are sponsoring one of our courses called Hockey Scholar. And Hockey Scholar is an online course that teaches them concepts through the game of hockey. And our whole thing is that students like to play games. They don't like to learn lessons, right? We know this. So by situating these STEM concepts in a game, it's a way to motivate them and encourage them to pursue STEM as something that is a little bit more interesting for them. And I think anytime you can combine STEM and sports, you've got a winner, right? So if this is something you'd like to check out along with me, you can check it out at everfi.com/register. And I got it right here, everfi.com/register, but it's probably backwards for you. So it's not Ever5, because the kids, they always do that when you tell them to go to EverFi. They type in Ever5. It's not. But anyway, if your school does not exist in our system, you can request that, and it will be created by tomorrow morning at the very latest, so don't worry about that. And the programs itself, you'll be able to find, it's very intuitive for students. They go through, and my favorite thing is when I go into a classroom and you get all the students registered, they go onto the program, and then the whole room goes silent. And it's because all the students are engaged individually. They're all working on the program, and they're all excited about what they're learning. So I think it's a really great opportunity for students, and a great opportunity for teachers. You know, it really creates some teacher space. You can converse with students individually. You can conference with them. And the students are also learning something. It's enriching for them as well. In terms of the implementation strategies, in Michigan, we see everything. Everything from EverFi Fun Fridays to you know, a substitute for a worksheet. So I know a lot of times in classes, you know, you're working on those same concepts over and over and over again. It can be a really great way to differentiate your class, mix things up for both you and the students. Now, the Hockey Scholar program is just one of our online programs. We actually have 17 completely free digital resources for teachers. But in terms of our STEM content, you've got our Hockey Scholar program, which is great for grades 5 through 8. It can be used with younger students, and it can be used with older students. There's no requirements there, but our goal is really to make the program very flexible for teachers, and you'll see some of the concepts are appropriate for different grade levels. So there's concepts ranging from calculating area, calculating distance, to force and motion, you know, controlled variables. I really love our engineering lessons as well. It's about like engineering the goalie's pads, so to match up with the goalie's preferences as well as the specifications. So you want to protect him, but you also want to give him increased flexibility. So students are working with a lot of different concepts, and the program is split up into a math section and a science section. So then that way you can choose what kind of concepts you're going to cover. Now we also have some incentives for students and schools. So the biggest one is our scholarship contest. We're currently running our fall scholarship contest. So students who complete any one of our online programs, they can enter to win $1,000 micro scholarships. And especially for students in grades 5 through 8, you know, they like money. I don't know if you know this about them, but they do. And it can be a really great motivator. You know, you get $1,000 for college. That really sets you up. You think, like, that's something that I want to do. I want to be able to use this money to go to school. And not only that, it's a great way to reward students for you know, working really hard in class and working on these STEM concepts. Another really cool incentive that the Detroit Red Wings are doing specifically is they're doing a street hockey equipment incentive. So I think it's in May, they're going to be giving away 3 sets of street hockey equipment to schools. and they'll actually come out with with some members of the team to run street hockey clinics in the PE class. So this is a way to make a cross-curricular connection between your PE class as well as your STEM class. So really cool, interesting things happening with this program. And not only that, we're supporting teachers with additional lesson plans. There's lab packets that you can print up online, answer keys, discussion guides. So we're really looking to make it as intuitive and as easy as possible for teachers.
Yeah, and what I love about this, Samantha, and thank you so much for sharing that. What I love is, one of the huge challenges for us as teachers is to how do I go out to the business and have them sponsor the things I'm trying to do in my classroom? And EverFi, those sons of guns have figured it out, because this stuff is totally free for us teachers to use, and it's really high quality stuff that you just plug and play with your kids. That's digital, and the companies are paying for it. I mean, that's the beauty, right? Is that all of this stuff is being paid for. So you and I don't know how to call the Red Wings and be like, hey, can you do this thing with me and my kids? But EverFi has made that happen, and it is available to all of us for free. And so that's really awesome. And these additional incentives, I think, are a great way to get kids excited about it. But as I've looked through the content, it's really sharp stuff. A lot of it is 5 to 10 hours worth of material that you could use to supplement stuff you're already doing in your classroom. It could be a standalone unit. So it's definitely worth checking out. And we wanted to give Samantha that time to kind of introduce it to you guys. And we even hope to continue these conversations with them over the course. Josh and I are always working on some schemes. Josh especially, he's always got some schemes. So we're gonna keep angling with Samantha to see if we can't get some Red Wing swag at some point here to support our STEM network. But Samantha, thank you for joining us and for sharing at least this brief introduction to the sweet programs you're offering.
And I'm going to throw in one more component to it that I love about it is the teacher dashboard allows you to manage and see the progress of every single student, where they're at, how they did on these there's pre and post test exam or pre and post test questions on each of the trophies. What the students do is they're trying to win a number of different trophies to win the Stanley Cup, and you get to see their progress. There's great videos. The kids love the ice technician, and they talk about some of the STEM, the different types of STEM jobs that are available in an arena like the Detroit Red Wings, from equipment managers all the way to the ice technician. So it's really cool. Good videos and good games and great content. So thanks, Samantha, for joining us. And you guys need to reach out to her. Just sign up on the NHL Future Goals.
Thank you so much for having me.
Register. Thanks, Samantha. And I'm going to pull a quick audible on our agenda just for time. We want to guys time to engage in this survey in cooperation with Michigan State. So before I pass the ball to Dr. Frank, I just want to say, okay, creeper alert, y'all. While you've been here, okay, for those of you who are on the live stream, if you're on the recording, you already saw this email come through at a previous night. But at 8:30 tonight, you received an email, and it looked something like this. All right, this is the one I got. Yours probably does not say Andrew. And it explains what you just received, which is a link to a survey. And that survey is going to be really useful for not only us in this STEM teacher network over the course of our time together, but it's also going to support some really interesting research, really cool. And we're actually going to have Dr. Frank come back in a few months to share his really tremendous insights into how innovation takes place and how it spreads. But we just want to give him a little time to introduce this survey. If you want to go in your email, open that survey link and start working on it right now. That's great, but Dr. Frank is going to introduce it as well.
All right. That sounds
so I'm sorry, Ken. Here, the floor is yours.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, so thank you, Andrew and Josh, for letting me and my group engage. It's been fascinating listening about the NHL Future Goals project and the Journals project and some of the tools that you all are describing. My job is to help you all do what you're doing. So I am a professor at Michigan State. I study social networks, and most of that concerns how teachers interact with one another and how that affects what they do in the classroom. Some of those networks are online, some are via social media, sometimes they're face-to-face. So in this context, we connected up with Josh and Andrew so that we could help map out the teacher STEM network in Michigan. And so in order to do that, we are asking you all to take the survey that that Andrew showed on the screen there. It should take you about 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to ask you questions about where you're getting resources from, who you're talking to sort of face-to-face, who you're talking to online, and who you're sharing things with, and also some events that you go to. So I know that no survey is perfect, and so there might be some questions that hit you a little odd, but I hope you'll hang in there with us. The goal is not evaluative. I really want to emphasize that. The goal is for us to better understand the network that's out there so that we can ultimately help the network do more of what it's trying to do, let people know where there are resources. So I will say that when we come back, we'll talk to you about some modules, some teaching modules that we're going to be setting up. One is about how to implement innovations in schools and how to think about the social organization of the school as you do so, which seems quite relevant to the things talked about tonight. We'll talk about teachers' use of social media, and we'll also talk about some ideas for school governance that can really help the big decisions support the great learning opportunities that I've heard about tonight. So that'll be in, I think, January is when we decided we'd come back. And if all goes well, we'll have some preliminary results from the survey. So I have a team with Caitlin Torfey, John Lane, and Dirk Zuschlag who work with me on all things related to social media and school governance and things like that.
And I'll say, if you guys want to know where this guy's heart is, go and listen to Stateside Teacher Burnout. I caught it last week. I had no idea it was going to be on it. It was last Friday. I was driving home from school, and this guy is trying to help. And Dr. Frank, I really appreciate it. I met you about a month ago, and I thought you could help us create the right system for these teachers to help us all just connect. We're really just trying to do this collectively, all of us, whether it's Dr. Selleck, Trevor Muir, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. We're just trying to help each other out collectively. We all have resources and ideas. We're trying to find the right avenues to share. But then on the flip side, like you just alluded to, is how do you implement them, and how do you implement them with support? And that's where I think the survey will help us. So thank you so much.
To Pamela Opolsky, excuse me, and Ken Wright, who have already completed the survey. Nice work, thank you. So, Dr. Frank, it looks like the timing of it was pretty good. I've put in the chat, and we're asking that. Oh, and now Jamie, thank you. Of you who are on live with us to complete the survey now, you'll see you received an email from John Lane, which includes a link to the survey. And once you've completed the survey, please type your name in the live chat, and that'll make you eligible for our giveaway. Did the survey with us tonight, that is what will make you eligible. And we're going to for the next like 7 minutes, just take the foot off the accelerator so that you can do that while we continue to talk amongst ourselves, all right, and do a few more items of business. So you can kind of tune us out. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Ann. You can kind of tune us out while you're doing the survey, because we want you to be paying attention there. But just we also don't want dead air, because that's our worst enemy. So a few items of business. One is that a part of participating in this network is that you can earn Sketch credit. And I've seen that a number of you have signed up for the course in Michigan Virtuals PLP, where you can earn Sketch credit by entering in secret passcodes from each one of our live streams. And so tonight's code, if you get your decoder rings ready, is Academy. So all lowercase Academy. And so if you have participated and watched this live stream and engaged with it, even if that's a recording of it, you can be a part of that class and then simply type in that code to receive credit. And if you've participated in at least 3 of these sessions, then you can earn the minimum requirement of 3 sketches. But of course, we'll go all the way up to 8 sketches if you participate in all of our sessions. The other thing I'll share with you is our good pal Ron has been out and about in the state, Ron Madison, and he shared with us another dispatch from his adventures. And so as you're completing the survey, I will share with you Ron's latest, Where's Ron Been This Time? My audio set up here to share that with you. So again, that's the code again, yes. So Teresa is asking a question, but I will share. So here's Where's Ron? Where's Ron this time?
Hey, Sharon, another time. Where's Ron with STEM? I had some great opportunities this month. Had some people being creative using Strawbees, putting their names together. Visited a STEM site, Holmes STEM Academy. We did some great things from using Spiros. We use Kiva planks, talking about the engineering side and just getting them to think wider. Also had some great professional development of 3D printing and also completed an online course in that for EduPass. So if you definitely want to check out 3D printing in the classrooms, go to edupass.org and definitely sign up for that class. It is free for all educators in the state of Michigan. But just some great opportunities to work with young people and educators throughout the state. So hopefully you guys are engaged and have some great things ready for this month. Go get them, and we'll talk to you next month. This is Ron Madison. Take care.
And educators out there, get on Ron's handle on Twitter and invite him out to your classroom. And we would love to see the window into your classroom as well. So reach out to Ron. He's just awesome. He'll bring a lot of great energy into your classroom.
That's right. And as we look ahead to our future live streams, Josh and I have talked pretty candidly about wanting to get you all engaged in these presentations. And so my intention is to just reach out to some of you. But if you want to reach this way, if you want to say, hey, I've got this really cool STEM stuff I'm doing, and I'd love to be one of the featured guests in a future live stream, please reach out to us either in the Google Plus space, or you could do that via email. Any manner of ways. I'll share my email in the live chat. But we'd love to hear from you, and love to just have you. I mean, this is about us sharing resources with one another. So we don't want to come in with like we've got all the answers. So I'm going to give folks just another minute or two to get their names up in the live chat if they've completed the survey. The last thing I wanted to mention here, I believe, is Ron referenced a couple of cool tools that he's seen out and about, like the Strawbees, the Spiros, the Kiva planks. I've never used the Kiva planks. I've included links there. I should also include a link. These are in the agenda. I've included links. But he also mentioned EduPaths. And if you haven't heard of EduPaths, that is a great resource for earning free sketches in a variety of different areas. And I'll just show you that website real quick. EduPaths is a professional learning platform. Can be earning sketch credit in a variety of different subject areas. Of course, in which is pretty cool. So there's always new courses coming out, and so it's a great place to check if you're looking for more professional learning.
Andrew, I just got on EduPass a few weeks ago to create a hydroponic system in my classroom. They walked me. I had done it before. Mine was garbage, but the person on EduPaths laid it out very nicely and was able to pull that off. So yeah, educators, go out and check out EduPaths because there's some really good step-by-step instruction and videos on there.
All right. I think it's time for our drum roll. Let's see. Oh, Kenneth shared that Kevlar planks are amazing. I've got 2 of the die cut machines to cut strawberries. They have limitless ability. Very cool. Worth checking out to be sure. Okay, here's how we're going to find our winner. I'm going to have a random number from Josh. Give me a random number between 40 and 50.
42.
All right, 42. And Ken, can you give me a random number between 60 and 80?
71.
All right. And then Carrie, how about a random number anywhere between 0 and 25?
24.
All right, 24. So we have had somewhere like, I would say 10 to 15 people write their names, so they're eligible. And so here's what I'm going to do in full transparency. I'm going to pull up a calculator, random calculations with numbers you guys gave me. So we got 42 divided by 71 times 24 is number 14 divided by 2, because that's probably too many, is 7. So the 7th person on our list, here we go. Pamela, Ken, that's 2. Jamie is 3. Kyle is 4. Ann is 5. 6. Andy is 7. Come on. I don't know if we can give it to Andy. Andy Lowson.
Yeah, we can give it to Andy.
All right. Andy, you got it, man.
Wait, hold on. We can give it to Andy if he uses it and shows us how he uses it. Like a video.
All right. I think that's fair.
He's got some GoPro.
I think that's fair.
He can take that.
Yep. Sounds like a fair deal. Cool. Well, thank you guys all so much for joining us tonight. Experiment for us, so we really value any feedback that you have. We just hope to continue to engage one another. You can do that again through our Google Plus network. You could join that class space where you could be earning sketch credit for these live streams. And please keep telling your friends and family that they can join this network. There's no limits. It's not bound by geography. If you know some STEM teachers in other states, they're welcome to be a part of this. We want to do this by teachers, for teachers, all the way across. Thank you, Carrie, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you taking the time and making yourself available to our teachers. Forward to chatting with you again in the near future. And we appreciate your support in all of this. Josh, it's always a pleasure.
One more thing about the Dyson Challenge. On the at the end of the agenda, there's one more we got to throw. I'm going to throw this one out. Go to the Dyson Marble Challenge or the Marble Roll or something. It's online. We have a link to it. They give you the lessons. It's really a simple, super inexpensive. If you got cardboard and a marble, you can pull this challenge off. It's free, and they have some pretty cool videos. Go find that one on the link. There it is right there.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and we will see you in 1 month or so.
Thank you.